Welcome back to another episode of Blake's Takes. Pretty big recording today because we just saw The Batman featuring Robert Pattinson as Batman. There's a lot of topics to hit for sure when it comes to this film.
Most definitely. A lot of controversy surrounding this movie, actually.
You think?
I feel so. Because originally, like you said, this was supposed to be a Ben Affleck movie.
It was.
So,
And Ben Affleck was supposed to direct it as well. Star and direct it.
Exactly. So, I feel like the fact that he wasn't even involved in this project at all, a lot of skeptical views going into this.
Yeah, I could agree. But really, I went into it with an open mind, I really didn't set any expectations. I just wanted a good Batman film.
Absolutely. And honestly, when you come into something like this, to me, this feels like it just feels like something very new for DC to do. Totally different take. It's a totally solo film. And I don't know. I don't even know. Is this going to be part of the DC?
No,
universe?
So it's not going to be part of the DC EU universe.
That's what I figured.
But they do want to make a trilogy out of it.
Okay, I could see that.
Yeah.
I see. We saw the teaser at the end.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that later.
But oh yeah. By the way, guys, spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. I gave a little spoiler-free review last night.
Yeah.
So there will be spoilers. So, starting off with topic number one, I really liked its representation of Gotham in this Batman film.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. And that was like our first intro into the movie, was like they just gave an entire top to bottom of Gotham, and I was like, holy shit, this is Gotham City, bro.
Yes.
Like I thought it was absolutely a perfect representation. It was a good mix of like dark and real, and also that comic book aspect that we know so well.
I agree, because Gotham is a shithole place to live.
It really is. And I don't know why he's so determined to save it, but he is.
And they did a great job of showing how shitty of a place it is.
They did. And also,
I can tell you, even with the weather, I feel like it rained a lot.
Yes, it definitely rained a lot. It was like a very depressing city.
I was going to say, it was a very moody film.
It was.
Even the cemetery that he go meet Selina at, I feel like you see a cemetery a decent amount in the Batman animated films, or, one in particular, Batman, The Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah. Honestly, Batman is just like known for having these dark overtones.
Yeah.
So, cemetery is not a very brightening place.
Yeah.
So it just makes sense, and we do see it a lot in cartoons, comic books, and we got to see that in this one.
I want to go over first a few highlights in this movie to me. So number one is going to be the cinematography.
Yes.
There were some beautiful shots in this movie.
When I was watching it, I was thinking the exact same thing. I was like, these are all really cool camera angles.
Yes.
Like, they were very cool. There was like some point of view shots that I really liked, and there was some, especially like when he was riding his motorcycle, that I thought were really cool. But no, I definitely agree. Definitely some unique camera angles that like you don't see very often.
Oh yeah. And especially that one shot, it's upside down, because Penguin gets flipped over in the car, and you see Batman walking up with all the fire behind him.
Yes, that was so cool.
So cool.
Bro, and not to mention, like, before that, when he comes out of the flames in the car, bro, he looked like Ghost Rider in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. almost. And
especially also when we first get introduced and you see him coming out of that dark alleyway.
Yes.
There was just great shots in this movie.
There really were.
And then another aspect that, made a great cinematography as well was the lighting.
I was just about to start talking about that.
Lighting was very cool.
And, clearly red is like the theme for this movie. So there were a lot of shots with red lighting that made it look very, very dark and scary. And it was really cool.
There's this one guy I watch on YouTube. His name is 3C Films, and he is absolutely just loves red lighting, whether it's like horror movies, even the Spider-Man films. Like, he's always talking about red lighting. And this might be the best red lighting that I've seen in a movie.
Yeah, he's gonna flip his shit.
Yeah. A very popular thing to do with Batman, but when, they'll turn off all the lights, make it dark, and you can only see, like, the gunshots.
Yeah.
They did that as well with, I think they did that with Christian Bale's Batman, too.
I can't quite remember.
And probably Ben Affleck's, too. That's a popular thing when it comes to Batman. It's like having just gunshots be the only time that you can see him.
That's the only lights, because he's like in the darkness.
Yeah.
But, speaking of gunshots, though, let's talk about the gunfights and the action that was in this movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so one, the hand-to-hand combat
Yeah.
was very good, very realistic. Definitely representative of a younger Batman who's like using his young age as, you know, his best strategy, because that's what he has. Like, experience and all that really isn't his strong suit right now.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's just using his brute strength and it's working. And also, every hit, bro, you feel every single hit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know whatever they did with the sound.
So that's
was
what I
so
wanted to
good.
bring up. I wanted to bring up the sound mixing for the film was actually really good too.
Like
between the Foley, you know, with him walking up and his footsteps almost sounded like a cowboy was walking up.
No, I know. And like, and when he was first walking down those stairs or whatever to fight those bad guys in the beginning, like, and you were hearing every step, I'm like, you know, I never thought about like how heavy he probably is in all that gear.
Yeah.
And you were hearing like every step on his way down those stairs.
No, the sound in this movie was very good. It was very intense. You could feel every sound effect in it.
It was. And another sound effect that was really good was the gunshots. Like, honestly, sometimes gunshots almost feel like it's almost unrealistic, and it's just, it doesn't feel like you're there. And it's almost boring when people get into gunfights. But with this, bro, they made those gunshots so loud and real, and you felt like every shot that was like, it was honestly scary. Like, you could see the fear in Selina's eyes when she was being shot at.
Yeah.
And even Gordon, like a cop who is, you know, dealt with gunshots before, but like you could still see he was like terrified out of his mind by getting shot at relentlessly.
Yeah. No, the fight choreography was very good. It almost felt like a mix of realistic, but also had that, you know, Arkham game type feel to it as well.
Yes. And like, especially with him like taking on multiple enemies at once. And like, I mean, he dodged what he could, but like he was still taking hits. Yeah. Let's talk about how bulletproof he was.
Yes.
I thought that was really cool.
It was cool. I mean, think about it. Batman, he's just a human, so he's gonna have as much protective gear as he can from gunshots. And
it seemed like he was sacrificing. It seemed like he had to sacrifice some of his mobility for like the gear that he wore in this, because he wore a lot of heavy gear in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, his suit was bulletproof.
It was.
And I really did like his suit. I know the cowl you're kind of iffy about that.
Honestly, like the suit itself, I actually love it.
Yeah.
I love how it looks. I love how just geared up. I don't know, just like how padded and big he looks. But yeah, honestly, the cowl is probably like my one drawback. I don't know what it is. It's like, to me, his head almost looks like a light bulb. Like he's got a very rounded nose. I don't know. That's my one thing. But,
you know, Batman, he has a lot of gadgets, and I can tell from his suit that, you know, he had a lot of gadgets, because sometimes, you know, you see these Batman costumes and
they're very sleek.
So it doesn't, you know, they're like, where are all these gadgets coming from?
Exactly.
But you could tell, you know, he had all this shit on him.
I know, and I did like that very realistic aspect. Like even his grappling gun, his grappling gun like came out of his gauntlet, and you could see that, and he had to like physically put it back.
Yeah.
He had like it looked like he almost had like throwing darts almost like on his arm pads, and just like countless pockets, really.
Yeah, well, and then his Batman symbol on his chest piece, he could take it off and use it as a batarang.
That literally, I think that was his only batarang.
I know,
was his chest piece, which I didn't love, but I mean, I also thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed we didn't get to see any like batarang action.
Yeah.
But it was really cool that piece could come off of his chest and he could use it whenever he felt was necessary.
Still talking about his equipment. What did you think about the squirrel suit? The flying squirrel suit.
Yeah, so there's a scene where Batman is escaping what seems to be GCPD.
Yeah, he's escaping GCPD. And he makes it to the roof.
Yes.
And first off, when he makes it to the roof, he seemed like almost scared.
Almost like he was afraid of heights.
Almost scared, like he was afraid of heights. Yeah, I'm like, bro, Batman's known for jumping rooftop to rooftop. I'm like, what? Why are heights a new thing for him?
Yeah, and then so instead of, you know, having your typical, you know, bat cape.
Yeah, like the wings that he actually looks like a bat flying through Gotham.
He almost pulls into this like squirrel jumpsuit, like, you know, how those people that jump off cliffs and stuff.
It was literally a flying squirrel suit, and it was a very realistic take on like if Batman actually were to fly, like with the technology that we have now. But I would, and I mean, I get what they were trying to do.
I didn't like it.
But no, I did not like how it looked.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I mean, I get that you're trying to be realistic here, but
you're also...
it's also, there needs to be a comic book aspect.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're already creating a very comic book world.
Yeah, so what's, like, I mean, it is a little bit of, it is a little fantastical, but we like to see him look like a bat as he's flying through Gotham.
Yeah, because you could easily... I actually... That is one part I did like in The Dark Knight, is his explanation for how he was able to fly around with his glide around in his cape.
Honestly, it like made sense.
It did. It made a lot of sense. But yeah, I didn't like the flying squirrel thing. Because then to slow down, he had to parachute himself. I'm like, this is just kind of weird.
It was like almost too much.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I'm hoping, like, again, this is all coming from a place where this is Batman. He's still new to this.
Yeah.
So this is coming from a place. I mean, he's been doing it,
but they said he's been doing it for 2 years.
Okay, but I mean, clearly you're not gonna have all your shit figured out within 2 years.
In The Dark Knight, he had been doing that shit for 2 years. From Batman Begins to The Dark Knight, it was 2 years.
All right, then I guess Christian Bale's a faster learner.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it was still... He was definitely a very young Batman.
He was
definitely the youngest Batman we've had, so he's still learning.
Yeah.
But you know, you're on the job for 2 years. I didn't like that he was still, you know, afraid of what seemed to be afraid of heights. Because then later he grapples down.
He was
construction building.
He was fine with doing that. I think it was the flying and like having nowhere to go except the flying. I feel like in this instance, flying is like his last resort, and he doesn't like it because clearly he's not very good at it. Because he fucking crash landed bad.
Yeah. I know another part that a lot of people are gonna love about this Batman. Another part that I liked about it a lot was how much detective mode we got to see from Batman.
Yes, like we never really got to see that with any of our previous Batman movies.
No.
And you know, as much as we love the previous representations of Batman, all of them were just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna go out and beat some people up.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't really any detective work. Honestly, this was like as much of a detective movie as it was a Batman movie. Honestly, like Sherlock Holmes level.
Yeah, there was a lot of puzzle solving in this, clearly. I mean, it's the Riddler. But there was a lot to uncover. And yeah, they really, because Batman is the world's greatest detective.
Yeah, and we just haven't seen a live action representation of those skills.
And when it came to solving a lot of those puzzles, you know, James Gordon was involved in a lot of it, and I really liked Jeffrey's Wright representation of James Gordon.
Yeah, I loved it too, and their relationship was
cool.
good. It was good to see, and honestly, it was like cool to see that like develop at, like before he was Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
And they've been doing this for years. Oh, me and Batman go way back, but this is like them like just starting out almost.
I think out of the relationships in the live action movies of Batman and Commissioner, of James Gordon, this is definitely my favorite one so far.
I agree.
Yeah.
And Jeffrey Wright's a great actor.
He is. I love his voice. He's got a great voice.
He does have a good voice.
So what did you think about the villains in this movie?
All right. So Riddler, I liked his motivations. I liked his motivations. It was actually a very very honorable motivation for what he was doing, but obviously in a fucked up way. I thought he was a little weird.
Yeah.
Definitely a little weird. It was almost like, you know, the little kid who never got enough attention as a child, so now he's going to go murder people in the street. I'm like, I don't know. He was very odd.
And they tried to fit in a lot of modern society problems with, like, you know, the internet and social media to try to show how dangerous, you know, social media can be with someone like the Riddler around. But
yeah, I mean, because he only had like 500 followers, but
they were all ready to go kill people for him.
Exactly. So
they were definitely trying to fit in modern problems into this film as well, which is weird because it almost felt like a film before social media. And
I agree.
You know what I mean?
No, the entire time I was watching it, like every time they brought up technology, I was like almost confused. I'm like, why does this feel like it's going on in like the 70s or something?
Yeah. Or like even the 80s or 90s.
Yeah. No, it didn't feel like modern era, but I think that just had to do with like how Gotham looked.
Yeah.
And like the lens they put over the camera and stuff like that. So it was but no, yeah, like the modern technology kind of like threw me off. I'm like he pulled out that contact lens camera. I'm like, You got that technology?
Yeah. Yeah, because even his Batmobile, it looked like it was like a muscle car.
Yeah, well, I think it was definitely a classic car.
Yeah,
it was definitely a classic car. That
Bruce Wayne likes his classic cars.
He does, and so basically his Batmobile in this one was like a tricked out classic car. And I'm not gonna lie, I loved the Batmobile.
It sounded great. Again, going back to the sound of this film, it had a great sound to it.
Yeah, like when we first saw it and the engine was revving up, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. Another sound, since we're back on that subject, that I really liked was in that final battle. He, has a smoke pellet go off, and he comes out of the smoke like a bat, and there's like almost like a shrieking bat sound when he comes out of the smoke. That sounded really cool.
Sound mixing was really good.
It really was. I mean, we got to also see Carmine Falcone. We got to see Penguin.
Okay, yeah, all right, yeah. Let's talk about Penguin. Okay, Penguin, I thought he was funny as fuck.
He was pretty funny.
Like, there was actually there was good, comedic breaks in this. And I thought Penguin was actually a perfect representation of what he is.
I like the way they portrayed Penguin in this. I do like a lot how in one part of the film, Batman and James Gordon have him cuffed up, and you see him like waddle away like a penguin.
Yeah.
Oh, that was really cool.
They just left him all tied up.
Yeah. Colin Farrell did Penguin, which Colin Farrell, I feel like lately, you never recognize him whenever in his films.
I literally didn't even know that was Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
Like until I saw it in the credits and I was like, really?
Yeah. But yeah, and then you had John Turturro as Carmine Falcone, which he is actually in a lot of comedy movies, and he did a great job as Falcone.
No, I liked him a lot.
He was able to show off his acting skills in it for sure.
Definitely, and I was actually surprised like at his aggressiveness towards the end. When he was fighting Selena Kyle, I was like, yo, he's just about to brutally murder this chick. And I don't know, I just like didn't see that coming out of him. He seemed so like calm and collected the entire movie until that moment. I was a little disappointed when Bruce went to go talk to Carmine Falcone, and he like believed every word he said.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, you're talking to a mob boss right here. You really think he's gonna tell you the whole truth? I mean, what he was saying was it was like true for the most part, but like it's where you get, the devil's in the details.
Yeah. So I think maybe, a part of why we saw Bruce make some of those small mistakes was just
being a novice,
being how young he was too, and not really going through all the experience as Batman yet, because towards the end of as Batman gets older, he trusts nobody.
He really doesn't.
I want to talk about how corrupt we got to finally see how Gotham is.
Yes, yeah, a lot of politicians, a lot of people in places of power. That were on a crime boss's payroll.
Yeah, because whether it be the comics, animated movies, games, there's a lot of corruption in Gotham. We hadn't really gotten that kind of corruption before.
We saw it a little bit in The Dark Knight with like people on Maroni's payroll, but
not to this
extent.
Level. Yeah,
not to this extent.
Yeah.
So it was definitely cool to see, like the corruption that Batman is actually fighting against.
Yeah. It was like every person, like the DA, narcotics.
Yeah, he said like the people he saw in the club that night. He said like that's half the DA's office.
Yeah. It was really cool to see that corruption. And that's one of the points that the Riddler is trying to make is the corruption of the rich and powerful in Gotham.
That is the point he's trying to make.
Yeah. And I really liked it because it gave me very heavy, DC comic vibes, even more specifically with like even some of the Arkham games, with the music that played along with it as well, like that, classical, orchestra music.
Yeah.
Do you remember playing the Gotham game? And do you remember that one villain with the pig mask?
Yes.
And he played like that weird music.
Yes.
It almost gave me those kind of vibes to it. And I really enjoyed that darkness of Gotham in this movie.
Nah, I know what you mean. Riddler was definitely like a creepy villain like that.
Yeah.
Like honestly, this was probably one of the most fucked up versions of Riddler that we've seen.
Oh yeah.
Like Jesus, he was a straight up psychopath.
Yeah.
And I honestly never had gotten that vibe from Riddler before. Like I felt like his and Batman's relationship was almost like playful, but this guy was fucked in the head, bro.
Yeah. To the point of delusional where he made himself believe things that weren't there.
Exactly.
So let's talk about Robert Pattinson as Batman.
All right. Well, What did you think of his Batman voice?
So I liked his Batman voice when he got loud. I really did. But Robert Pattinson, he's a pretty quiet dude.
Yeah.
And he was pretty quiet throughout this movie as Batman. And I wish we could have seen him get loud more, because when he started yelling and started getting like real serious about shit,
yeah,
I actually liked his voice. But he was quiet for a lot of the film.
No, I agree. Honestly, like, he was like that. He was definitely like the strong, silent type.
Yeah.
In this movie, almost to the point where he was just like this dark stalker.
Yeah.
Almost. I completely agree with you. When he did get loud, his voice was actually, it seemed almost like perfect for
it. It was fine. Yeah, it was just fine. And Robert Pattinson, I did like him as Batman, but I didn't really like him as Bruce Wayne. He wasn't very charismatic.
I still take this into account, like him not knowing how to balance this life and his life as Bruce Wayne yet.
Okay.
So I do agree with you. His Bruce Wayne like wasn't perfect. He was, like they even said in the movie, he was very reclusive.
Yeah.
Like barely came out of his house. And
which, I mean, you're Bruce Wayne, you're a billionaire. You got to put on a show for people.
You do. And Bruce Wayne is known for like being that. He's known for being the billionaire playboy.
Yeah.
Like, he does go out, he makes appearances and that kind of thing. And he's actually like he's considered like a good person though too, and like a good philanthropist as well. And I think, but again, I think this all just comes back to him not knowing how to balance the Batman life and how to balance his life as Bruce Wayne, because you do have to balance both.
You do, and I think that's a good point about him not knowing how to balance it yet, because at the end, I think we see him, starting to figure out, okay, this is what I can do for the city of Gotham and how to give them hope, because, there is a bit of narration in this film, and at the end, you hear him start to figure out how he can help the city of Gotham.
Yeah, like, not only can he help the city of Gotham as Batman, but he can also help it as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, because they need an inspirational figure to look to. So I don't know, maybe he's gonna try to use his personal life as Bruce Wayne to try and create that image.
There's definitely a lot of learning curves as this Batman.
Definitely. What about his physique for this movie?
So, honestly, we're never going to get as perfect to a Batman physique as Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Because I think he did have the perfect physique as Batman. Ben Affleck is 6'4".
Yeah.
And when he wants to work out, he can get fucking huge.
He can get jacked.
Yeah. So I thought his physique was all right. When he was in the Batman outfit, he did look bigger. I'm sure they put some boots on him that made him a little bit taller.
Yeah.
And the suit did make him look pretty big. But as, Bruce Wayne, he wasn't really that big. When you think of Batman, sometimes I just want to see him like tower over people, because Batman is strong as shit.
He really is.
And a lot of that has to do with his size.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think in like comic books, he's actually more like 6'2". He's not quite Ben Affleck tall.
No, he's like 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah, but honestly, it was very cool to see Ben Affleck be that giant and dominant over people.
Well, I think he also weighs like 220, 230 in the comics, though.
Yeah.
Pattinson definitely did not weigh that much.
He definitely did not hit that weight marker.
Yeah.
But
it reminded me a lot of Christian Bale's body for the Dark Knight trilogy.
I mean, I feel like even Christian Bale was more jacked than Robert
Maybe
Pattinson.
In the first one in Batman Begins, but as the movies went on, he wasn't nearly as jacked.
No, he did get skinnier.
Yeah.
But Batman Begins, he was pretty big.
Batman Begins, he was big. He was 220 for that.
Yeah.
Because he gained 100 pounds.
That was insane. That whole story about him being so scrawny for the Machinist.
Yeah.
Oh my God, and then him going from that to Batman is fucking insane.
Yeah. But I mean, it's what I expected from Robert Pattinson. He is a skinny dude.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's what I expected, and
honestly, it does make me just like a little bit more disappointed that it wasn't Ben Affleck in this movie, because I see these fight scenes and they were really good fight scenes, but imagine them with a 6'4", 240 Ben Affleck. Oh my God.
Yeah. I'm not gonna complain about Robert Pattinson. I did enjoy him as Batman.
No, it was very good, but it just makes me like a little sad I didn't get to see Ben Affleck.
But if we could have stuck Ben Affleck in this film.
Yeah.
I would have really liked to see that.
Seriously, because I mean, Ben Affleck is a great actor. Like he would have done the role justice.
Yeah, he would.
And you know, it's just a shame that he did not get this opportunity like sooner, because honestly, after his first few appearances as Batman, I'm sure he was like, bro, I'm done with this. Like, because they kind of just fucked him over with the movies they put him in.
Yeah.
And it's disappointing to see, because I'm sure he would have loved to have this opportunity, but he was just like, look, I'm done.
Yeah.
And which is understandable. Like, I mean, I kind of wish he stuck it out a little bit longer for this movie.
I do too. I mean, I feel like if Ben Affleck wasn't so far along in his career as he was, there might have been a better chance of him still playing Batman.
Like, if he was a little bit younger,
yeah,
then I think age might be just like
he's probably like 50 years old.
It was probably the biggest factor for this.
Yeah,
but you know, what are you gonna do? And again, not to say that we don't like Robert Pattinson's take on the character. We like Ben Affleck.
We do like Ben Affleck. Hey, it's complicated.
Hey, it's complicated.
Don't hate on Ben Affleck. And now, obviously, we can't forget to talk about Catwoman. Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle.
Yes.
What'd you think of that relationship between him and her and Batman?
I mean, I liked the relationship, like when they were working together on stuff, but the romance aspect definitely felt a little forced.
I agree.
Honestly, and when she kissed him for the first time, I almost felt like she did it as a way to like keep him
in her pocket.
Yeah, just like interested in, you know, be able to call on him when she needs. And it wasn't so much like it wasn't like she was falling in love with him, but just like almost like manipulating him.
But then at the end, she asked him to come with her.
True.
So
I mean, clearly she had something there.
Yeah.
But again, didn't really feel it come up organically. I'm like, there wasn't really like a situation that they were in where it would like bring about romantic emotions, other than like maybe like when he held her tight to like keep her quiet when that guy came in.
I mean, I will say there was some sexual tension.
I know there was sexual tension, but I mean, it just like, I don't know, it felt like a little off.
I mean, who wouldn't have sexual tension with Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz?
Bro, for real. I mean, but Zoe Kravitz is fine.
Yeah. So I did like their working relationship. I thought they played off together well when it came to that aspect.
Yes.
But yeah, you can't trust Selena Kyle.
No, you can never trust Selena Kyle. Bro, she's always in it for herself.
Yeah.
Always.
But yeah, I really liked her Catwoman suit a lot.
Yeah, it was very practical and realistic.
Yeah.
Almost like, you know, not like she like made a whole ass costume.
Yeah.
But like she just like kind of threw some stuff together. And
the way her beanie mask was, it had like just the slightest little pointy ears.
Yeah, like honestly, the ears kind of just came out how it was stitched.
Yes.
Like it wasn't like they were intended, it just kind of happened.
Yeah. That was cool.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
And you know, as much as I do like the comic book like look of Catwoman, I did like this take on it. For sure.
I feel like I always like a more realistic take on Catwoman. It's
yeah.
Like, what is this? Cat, she can actually have like cat ears. And,
no, I know. And they even threw like some slight hints in there with like not with the suit, but like when she was drinking milk while talking to him.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's like kind of a callback. I mean, that's like a known Catwoman thing, but like, very different from what they did in the Catwoman movie.
Yes.
With Halle Berry, bro. She was like a literal cat.
Yeah.
Like as if they merged a human and a cat and somehow became a person.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, she was like eating fish and shit. Like, just like weird as fuck.
So yeah, no one ever really called her Catwoman, but
no,
she knew who she was. Like you said, they
were like, you have a lot of cats.
Yeah.
She's like, I have a thing about strays.
And then at the end, she was like trying to get him to go. It could be the cat and the bat. And during that one part when they're interrogating one of the dirty cops, and Batman's like telling her not to kill him, and then she tries to push him out the left, and he's like, don't throw your life away, and she's like, don't worry, I got 9 of them.
I didn't even pick up on that.
That's what she said.
Shit. Oh, okay, so she looks at herself as like a cat.
Yeah. So there was definitely
there was hints out there, but she didn't just straight up say, "Hi, I'm Catwoman."
Yeah, which I like that.
Yeah, it was good. All right, last thing I want to bring up is this little Joker teaser.
Yeah.
That we got at the end of the movie. Okay. this was probably one of the things I liked the least about this movie.
Yeah.
It just felt so unnecessary.
It did.
I'm like, bro, why are you throwing another Joker in this? We've had Heath Ledger, Joaquin Phoenix, Jared Leto. I'm like,
yeah,
who the fuck is this?
Yeah, not to mention Jared Leto and Joaquin Phoenix were both going on simultaneously.
I know. I'm like,
so what are you gonna have a third Joker now at the same time?
I know. I saw him. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? How many fucking Jokers do we need? It's like we don't need, like, work on another character.
Yes.
Like there's so many characters in Batman that we still like need to see good live action representations.
Yeah.
We don't need more Joker. I love the character, but again, we've already gotten good takes on it. We don't need to beat a dead horse.
Exactly. I mean, that's why I didn't mind that we were getting Riddler, because we hadn't seen another representation as the Riddler since Jim Carrey's in the 90s.
Exactly, and that one was crazy comic book vibes.
So yeah, it was definitely unnecessary. I don't even know.
Honestly, with what we saw of his face, he looked like deformed and fucked up.
Yeah.
And I actually kind of liked how he looked. Not gonna lie, but the voice was and the laugh was
Yeah, it was The Riddler almost even had a better Joker laugh at the very last scene.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I was listening to that and I was like, wait, which one's Joker?
Yeah, yeah, for real. Cause like it's exactly what they did with the Dark Knight. They had the first Batman Begins movie, and then second one came in the Joker. Seems like they always want to get your attention at first and then throw the Joker away.
Yeah.
But we don't need another Joker right now.
We really don't. Can we please get somebody else?
Yeah.
Another villain. Overall, I thought this was a good movie. Definitely not a waste of time, even though it is a 3-hour movie. It was very long. We went and saw it at like 8:30, didn't get out till midnight.
Yeah.
Long movie, little bit slow moving, because it does.
Oh yeah.
It was very slow moving.
A lot of dialogue.
It was a lot of dialogue. They focused a lot on the detective aspect, which is why it felt so slow moving. But it was also cool to see him use his knowledge the way he did.
It was really rewarding. Like, the build up paid off to me. I mean, it was really rewarding seeing like each mystery get solved.
Yeah, no, it was definitely interesting.
Yeah,
it was very interesting.
Guess we'll see where it goes from here. They do want to make it into a trilogy.
Yeah, no, I feel like I'm with a little bit more character development.
Yeah,
I could definitely fully buy into this though.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Because the more screen time you give these characters, working with the same director, that they have a vision.
Yeah,
and it gets better over time. They narrow it down to what they want.
Exactly. So definitely a good movie, worth your time. Go check it out. And then come back and watch this video because obviously you don't want to spoil it.
Yeah. Nah, I definitely go watch it. It's definitely one of the more different takes that we've gotten on the Batman in a while.
Yeah.
And hey, we gotta give everyone a chance. People absolutely did not want Michael Keaton as Batman back in the 80s.
No, they didn't, but that's one of the most iconic Batman roles that we have ever seen.
Yeah, so you got to give everyone a chance, right?
Yeah, and, like I said, people were skeptical about Robert Pattinson, but you know what? I'm honestly, over the years, besides Twilight, he's proven himself as an actor.
He has.
And he did the character justice. He did good.
All right, so yeah, that does it for today on our video on the Batman. Go check it out and let us know what you think of it. And we'll see you next time on Blake's Takes.
Later, guys.
Peace.